Brother Josh.
There he goes, man. Talk to me, man.
I had questions about like the Feast of Unleavened Bread. My first question is: are we supposed to be like eating unleavened bread like every day of this week, like every meal, or like once a day?
Well, actually, for 7 days, you were supposed to be eating unleavened bread and basically nothing with leaven in it. That's what you would be doing if that was possible to keep the whole thing. See, the thing about the holy days, like 99% of them cannot be observed today because that's what God punished Israel with. See, the holy days were a privilege. And when Israel sinned, one thing God did to punish them were to make the holy days impossible for them to observe. And when they went into captivity, that became even more so the case. So the best you can do is the Passover and the unleavened bread. Now, if you want to go to 7 days and do it, then yeah. But if I'm going to be honest with you, you can't really keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread because number one, you're supposed to be in Israel to do that. You're supposed to be in Jerusalem. That's the commandment. You're supposed to be in Jerusalem. Number two, there's not supposed to be a shred of leaven anywhere in this land. When Israel kept the Feast of Unleavened Bread, there was no leaven found in their quarters, and it says also in their coast. Like they got all the leaven out of the country, right? And then, of course, they went back to it afterwards, right? So you can't really keep the holy days in the Old Testament as outlined in the Bible. Nobody can. It's not your fault. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. And another question would be like, what would be like considered leaven? Because like today, I know we have like chemicals that you could use as leavening agents.
Yeast.
And they probably didn't have like
yeast.
So just like
good old fashioned yeast.
And nothing else.
That's what it meant when this was written. It went to yeast. Anything after that they put the word leavening agent on, that doesn't have anything to do with it. You have to use the word and the understanding of what they meant when they said leaven. I'm glad that you brought out that there are other leavening agents, but if it's not yeast, then it's not really leaven in the sense that the Bible is talking about.
Okay. And well, I guess I'll have to ask someone. All right. Well, thank you, Brother Josh. Appreciate your time, and I appreciate the class.
Praise God. And I'm glad you brought this out because I wanted to bring to y'all attention that he said like a leavening agent. There are things that the Bible talk about, and you will see people use these modern day terms, and the modern day terms is not what the Bible means when it uses it. And when people see that, they'll get confused and think, oh, excuse me, they'll think that's what the Bible was talking about. So I'm glad he brought out something that nobody has really ever asked me before, like a leavening agent. Because all leavening agents ain't necessarily yeast. So I like that you brought that out, Isaiah, because somebody else probably was wondering that. So appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I'll see. Because me and my mom, we cleaned out the house, the stuff with yeast in it, baking powder, stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to tell her what you said. Hopefully, she ain't mad at me.
Yeah, praise God. Like I'm not gonna tell nobody not to do it. I'm not anybody who's trying to do these holy days and stuff as outlined in the Bible. I'm not gonna tell you don't do that. I'm just gonna tell you that you can't, and it's not your fault. You can't be penalized for something that God took away from you before you were even born, bro. You follow what I'm saying? The real truth of the matter is God don't really want us keeping these holy days until he sets them back up, except for the Passover with the bread and the wine. And that was the institution of the new covenant. And that don't require no priest. It don't require you to be in Jerusalem. It don't require you to sacrifice anything. That's the reason why we can do that one, right? But all the other ones, we supposed to acknowledge them because they have significant spiritual meaning, but we cannot really observe them. And that was by design when Israel sinned. I did a class, it's titled Holy Enough for the Holy Days. Once Israel revealed to God that they were sinners and wicked, and when they came to the holy days, he took them from them. That was a punishment. That's what they were. I can show y'all in the whole class. Every Israelite today that's telling you they're observing on the holy days, they're not really observing them. They're acknowledging them. They think they're observing them, but they're not. They're acknowledging them. And we're supposed to acknowledge them. But we can't really do them. Like, I know we want to, I want to, but we can't really do them. And that's by design.
Okay. Appreciate it, Brother Josh.
No problem. Praise God. And now we got legit frigid